Good morning, teachers and students, and welcome to Star Publishing. My name is Heather Jones, and I am the author of the Star Summit Senior Secondary course, the 8 Star Summit electives, Star Mock Exam Practice, and Star Strategies Reading. In an earlier video, I gave you an introduction to Star Strategies Reading. Today, I would like to explain our approach to one of the strategies from the books. There are 6 units in each book, and each unit is divided into 3 strategies. Today, I'll be looking at the way we teach pronoun reference. I'll be looking at this book, the Volume 1 Set A, and also Volume 2 Set B, which is for the more advanced students. So I'll be using the pages, I'll be referring to pages in those sections, and you can follow me with your texts. Volume 1 Set A is naturally for the weaker students, and I'll show you the different approaches we've used as we grade the texts in difficulty. If you turn to the contents page of Volume 1 Set A, you will see that Unit 1 covers the 3 strategies for answering what and how questions, completing tables with key information, and strategy 3, working out pronouns and finding pronoun reference. And that's what I'm going to look at today. Firstly, the Volume 1 Set A Unit 1 is about amazing people and deeds, and the strategy 3 is on Unit 1 19, so it's page 19 of Unit 1. If you have a look, the first thing we do is explain what the type of the question type is and give examples, so that the students are alerted to the fact that it's what does its in line X stand for, what does one in line X stand for, and then we have a table, and wherever possible I've included tables for quick reference and for easy learning. So on page 19 there is a list of 5 different categories of pronouns, different types. So type 1 is its and their, which is the commonest type to come up in the exam. The actual words, then the reasons of what it means, and the notes. Look for what you should look for in the exam paper, usually in the preceding sentence or in the preceding clause. Group 2 is the difference between it and they. Group 3, mine, yours, his, hers, its, what that can refer to, and because it is possessive, the fact that it must have the possessive marker when you write the full noun. This area often confuses Hong Kong students. Group 4 is one and ones, and Group 5 is another and others. So for another, the pronoun another refers to another noun of a type that has been previously mentioned, and others refers to a plural noun belonging to a type previously mentioned. Notes look for a preceding singular noun or look for a preceding plural noun. So the students get specific guidance as to what to look for in the preceding section of the exam, the article. Then when you turn over, we have a model exercise. This is standard for our strategies books. We have a model exercise where we model questions and answers that the students can refer to see how the question was deconstructed, and a little explanation. The explanation appears in the weaker books for the weaker students, but not in the texts for the stronger students. So we have a model exercise, which in this case is a letter, and the question, the answer is given, and an explanation below. Question, answer given, and an explanation. When you come halfway down page 21, there is exam tip 8, which is the possessive S. So that reminds the students that, for example, in question 3, they have to put the wild animals, apostrophe S. Then you go down to question 6, and over the page we have another exam tip, and exercise 4 follows. Exercise 4 is on the a Filipino lady who found 350,000 Hong Kong dollars and returned it to the owner. So there is a section there. In this case it's a dialogue. We've introduced as many different text types as we can, and there the students have no guidance, they practice on their own. And then following this there are 3 follow-up exercises online for students who want to do further work, or if you want to set work for homework just to consolidate learning. Finally, in each strategy, at the end of each exercise, not model exercise, there is a food for thought at the bottom of page 23. Food for thought: what would you do if you found 350,000 Hong Kong dollars in an envelope in a rubbish bin? These questions are introduced just as spin-off discussion topics. They are particularly useful in the speaking exam. So if you've got an article, the students have learnt the vocabulary through the theme words and expressions, now they can express themselves orally. So what would you do? It's a prompt question of the type that often appears in the speaking exam. So food for thought is an important but small part of each strategy. Let us turn now to Volume 2, Set B, and here the answering pronoun referent questions appears on page 14, Unit 1, 14, and it's Strategy 2 in the book. Now, if you have a look at that table across 2 pages, you'll notice immediately that there are more pronouns discussed and introduced. For example, group 3 on the table on page 14 refers to this and that and which. So, and the notes are, this answer is often the preceding sentence. Otherwise, this, that refers to the preceding singular noun. On page 15, we have group 7 and group 8. Group 7 cover instructions on how to decode, as it were, the former and the latter. And group 8, how to deal with counterparts, which often occurs. So these are more high-level language features that the students may have to deal with in the exam, and certainly Volume 2 Set B students should be practicing their abilities with those sorts of pronouns. So you can see how the actual content that we're giving the students is more difficult. It's at a higher level by the time they get to this last book in the series. The table is again followed by exam tips, notes on pairs, how the words, the former and the latter, often appear in pairs, and the fact that former and latter can also relate to singular or plural nouns. Then over the page we have the model exercise, but when you turn to page 18, you'll see that there are 10 questions for the model exercise, but the Volume 2 Set B students only get the answers provided for them for 5 of those questions. They don't have the whole exercise done for them, and there are no explanations as to how this answer was arrived at. These are the answers. The student should be able to work out by going back to the table exactly how to approach them and get that answer. So they do half the exercise for the model exercise. At the bottom of that page we have food for thought, Look up the Coldstream Guards Remembrance Day 2009 tribute online to find out more about Poppy Day in England. So that's some research they can do. Exercise 3 is the exercise that they are working on for this section on pronoun reference. Here it's a dialogue, an actual interview, and on the following page they have 10 questions to go through. So you can see how the presentation of the strategies follows the pattern of usually a table of information with exam tips, then a model exercise. In the lower banding students, we have material that is completely guided for them in the model exercise, and all the answers are provided. For the stronger students, we have material that is more advanced and requires them to do more work, and not a great deal of explanation is provided. Followed by food for thought. So that's how we teach pronoun reference. I hope you found this useful. I will be doing other videos on other strategies, particularly the why strategies, how to answer why questions in the exam, guidance there, and the dictionary definition questions, how to answer dictionary definition questions, or questions which we call paraphrasing questions, where the exam paper, the article gives you information in a certain form, and then the question asks you to rephrase it, either changing active to passive or transitive to intransitive verbs, and so on. So we'll look at those in further videos. If you would like to have a Skype conference with me on any of the books that Star Publishing has produced, I'm available on my Skype at any time, and I can talk to you and your staff about any questions you may have. If you would like to, then you can email me on the email address below, which is hajones.starpub@gmail.com. Alternatively, you can become my Facebook friend on heather.a.jones. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoy the courses.